The Lions make it 33 straight in a row, but man, that was a weird one. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here on the Franklin Lion Football Show, right here on S2S Sports, part of L4 Media. Now, this is technically the Week 2 show, but this is actually the first show of the season. We do want to thank Walter Commander of Franklin for making this possible as he stepped up as a partial sponsor, even though he didn't really have anything to sell, but he just loves his Franklin football team, and he loves listening to our show and stuff, and so he wanted to help. We are still needing some sponsors, so if you're a Franklin business or if you just want to pitch in, let me know, Terry at s2ssport.com, or you can give me a call at 469-605-3658, or better yet, text me. With me doing shows all the time, I basically keep my phone on silent so it doesn't ring across while I'm recording. But we would love to have a couple more Franklin sponsors, but we do thank Walter because we absolutely love talking Franklin football here on S2S Sports Network and our show Sideline to Sideline, the 3A show, which you can hear each and every week right here on the network. And as I said, it was a weird game because Franklin went down 21-7, which doesn't happen a lot, them going down. They fumbled the ball twice, they fumbled 4 times, but 2 of them were scooping scores. And it was just one of those games that, honestly, as I was talking to Coach Fannin before we recorded, in this 33-game winning streak, there hasn't been a lot of weird games. Franklin's basically went out and did what they were supposed to do, and for the most part, decisively, or against teams like Brock, having to do it late, but nothing. There wasn't a ton of weird stuff. This was one of those weird games. Hey, Franklin threw for over 100 yards. That's weird in of itself. Jaden Jackson, or as I learned, and we're going to use for the rest of the year on Sideline to Sideline, to the bug, Jackson was an absolute beast. I posted a video that showed one play, showed the power of him as he threw off a player, and then also another play where it showed that burst as he went through an absolutely humongous gap created by his offensive line and outraced the defense. But he was big, over 268 yards rushing. Kind of what you expected him to do as he steps into that big lead dog position that for the last couple of years, he's been behind Bryson Washington, and now Jackson takes the lead, and I think, as you can tell, it's going to be fine. And as far as the defense, they're going to give up some big plays, but Woodville's really good, folks. They're 9-3 last year. They lost this game last year, 22-12. If you remember, they held Franklin scoreless in that second half. But Woodville's a really, really good team. So I think this was a great way to start off the season for the Lions, not only getting the win, but who they played and the quality of the win that was this week at home against Mexia. And what we're going to do each and every week is we're going to talk to Coach Fannin about the week that was and the week that is. So we'll talk that Woodville game, and then we'll preview the Mexia game, talk a little bit about that. And you're going to hear a theme that I bring up a lot when me and him talk. And I'm going to keep doing it. It's just that the Franklin community, because I truly do believe the Franklin community is just so unique. I even say it in the interview. When you think of Texas high school football, Friday Night Lights, you think of the Odessa Permians of the 70s and 80s. You think of Salina and 2A in the 90s. And I think Franklin in the 2010s is exactly that. It's just unique. And Franklin's always had that. But until you get that first state championship, it's just kind of a quiet little secret. But once you win state, and then, you win state again, and, you win 33 games in a row, counting, people start to stand up and notice. And one of the biggest questions I get asked when we're traveling or people talking about the shows, they always ask us, is that Franklin community thing, is that a real thing, or is that just something y'all are pumping up? No, it's a real thing. It is so unique. The community is so unique in how they support the team, and it's just an absolute blast to be talking Franklin football this year. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, it is the head coach, Mark Fannin, of the Franklin Lions, right here on the Franklin Lion Football Show on the S2S Sports, part of L4 Media. Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie, and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. And you can see it all on our YouTube channel at L4 Media Company. Like and subscribe. Terry Bennett back here on the Franklin Lion Football Show. Now joined by the head coach, Coach Mark Fannin. And, Coach, first off, congratulations, 33 straight wins. You beat a Woodville Eagle team that you and I were just talking about is really, really good this year. But that was an odd game.
Yeah, it was. It was really we're very fortunate, first off, to come out with a W in that game. You're not really supposed to win those games when you turn the ball over 4 times and they score 21 points off your turnovers. So we're very fortunate to come out with a W, but it was a great season opener. I couldn't ask for a better season opener because you faced, these kids. We were down at halftime, yep. And we were down 2 scores at different time of different points in the game. We were down 2 scores, and these kids, you kind of figure out what team you got pretty quick. And these kids overcame that adversity and kept fighting. And when that last whistle blew, we were on top. So that's a good thing that these kids. That's a good thing. That's a good sign for us coaches that these kids have that in them this year and were able to overcome that adversity this early in the season.
Well, I remember you and I talking during the state championship week about the win streak and how, you've become a target. Well, add that second state championship, add another win. And it's fair to say that each week you're going to get your opponent's best while other teams might not get that much.
Absolutely. And, I tell these guys all the time, we got a target on our backs each and every week. And they got to be able to come out ready to play because everybody's trying to, everybody. Obviously, you play a football game, you try to beat us, but that target comes a little bit bigger each and every week. With these guys winning that many in a row, it'll make a football team's year if they come out and beat us. So that I try to tell my kids all the time about staying humble, staying hungry, and continue just to stay the course and keep getting better each and every week of practice because, anything can happen in a football game and they just got to be ready to go when those lights come on Friday night.
You talk about the turnovers, the 4 fumbles, but you also ran for 412 yards. Jaden Jackson, 268 yards on 24 carries. And you even had a passing game. Court Lowry had a big 67-yard touchdown. So I know the fumbles have got to be frustrating, but it's good to see the offense hitting on cylinders this early.
Yeah, we were, Terry, other than the fumbles, we were clicking. We were moving the ball, marching the ball down the field. And Jaden Jackson had a great game. He had 268 yards and a touchdown or 2. And there was another couple kids that played Thursday night football that kind of not shocked us, but we didn't know what kind of players they're going to be because it's a lot different game of speed from Thursday to Friday, and they had a great game. R.J. Fulton, one of those kids, he's a sophomore running back. He had 6 carries for 70-something yards, and he ran the ball hard. Devin Drago, he's a returner from last year, but he really he played a lot of offense for us, but he was really a defensive superstar for us last year. Now he's on both sides of the ball, and he had a real great game offensively and defensively. But he ran the ball well, caught the ball well. Terry, I think we had 112 yards passing. So that's big time for us. So that's always a bonus when we can get that many yards in the air for sure, because all that does is open up our run game and makes it a little bit easier for us to for our running attack.
Defensively, they didn't score offensively as much as the scoreboard. Again, they had 2 scooping scores, but they did hit you on a couple big plays. Is that something you attribute to probably first game and just kind of getting things worked out on the defensive side?
Yeah, and it's we got some young kids playing on defense, and just catching up, like I talked about earlier, catching up to Friday night speed it's going to take a little bit. So from Thursday night to Friday night, some of those kids that's their first Friday night football game. It's a little bit different speed, and they're trying to get caught up to that speed. And each and every week, these guys that get to play that Friday night speed, they'll get better with practice and just catching and during practice and catching up on that on game day situations.
Do you think that's just something of just getting repetitious and snaps and stuff? Is it something you can work on in practice to simulate the game speed?
It's hard to simulate that in practice. We do it to the best of our ability in practice, but it's nothing like getting out there when everybody's adrenaline's going on a game day, and you're getting everybody's best, full speed effort every single snap. So it's really that game time. That game time experience is going to be the best way for these young kids, to catch up to that game speed.
You know, across the state, I was surprised at how well everybody handled the heat. How do you think y'all handled it?
Oh, I thought we did great. We didn't cramp up very much. I thought our kids overall were in pretty good shape. We didn't have a bunch of people tapping in and out. We've been hydrating, been stressing the importance of staying hydrated throughout the week and throughout the game. And these kids have done a good job. And overall, I was pleased with how we went out and performed on Friday.
All right, you go to 1-0. You have your first home game this week against Mahia, a Black Hat team that's 0-1, but they lost to a very good Waco Conley team. I think Mahia is actually better this year than they were last year.
They definitely are. They are better. Mahia, year in, year out, they have some athletes everywhere on the field. So they're scary, very, very scary on offense. They're very fast on defense. So we're going to have to play some really good football to get another W. Coach Nowell does a really good job with those guys over there. He's got them going in the right direction. They're a team that if you don't strap it up, they will give you a loss if you don't take care of business.
Well, let's go back to that win streak. I've got to ask you, as a coach, is that something you talk about with the players, or is that just something that you just file away and you don't really talk about the 33 games and all that?
I've never said anything to them about it. I don't want them really thinking about it much, even though, they probably know and hear about it all the time, but I don't stress anything about it. I just stress 1 week at a time. Go play your heart out on Friday night and see what happens. And that's what they've done. I guess it's 33 now and 33 weeks in a row. So I don't stress it because I don't want them thinking about it when they're playing really on Friday nights.
Do you, as a coach and as a person, do you think about it?
No, I really don't. It's just something that it's a pretty big honor, I guess, to do that. Not very many teams have won that many in a row. But it's a straight, like I tell everybody, it's a straight contribution to this coaching staff and these kids year in and year out in Franklin that are just one of a kind, that that are ate up with the process of football. These coaches are bought all in. They're very, very experienced, and it's just a straight contribution to those guys week in and week out that they put the work in, and it shows on Friday night.
Well, and you and I talked about this at coaches school. You think of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, it was Permian, Salina, and South Lake Carroll. And Franklin in this era, I think y'all can be brought up to that. It's different in Franklin than it is other towns.
It really is. Franklin's a special town. We've always been very rich in tradition in football, even from the late 50s on up. The early 50s, all the way up to present time, we've always won a lot of football here. And this community that rallies around this football program, it's something very cool to watch, and the support that these guys get, and week in and week out, even on away games and even on home games, they are treated like, many celebrities around here, these football players, so that's something cool to watch. And when you can get a community to rally around you and really trust in what we're doing up here, it's pretty cool to watch. And I owe a lot of thanks to the guys of the Franklin community, the Franklin fan base that come in each and every week that supports us.
And how much more to you does it mean that it is your hometown that you're doing this in?
It can't be any more special. I take a lot of pride in this town. Graduating from here and going through playing football through here for Coach Reinhardt. It's just something that it's a special place. It always will be a special place here in my heart, here in Franklin. It's just something that, I take a lot of pride in. I don't know what else to say about that, but it just gives me chills thinking about it right here, talking to you about it. That we can come, that I can come in here and give this to this community and just give back a little bit to them.
Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at l4frclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español. Terry Bennett back here on the Franklin Lion Coaches Show. As always, we thank our head coach, Mark Fannin, for joining me. It's going to be a fun year. I've always enjoyed talking with him. We have a blast when we go down to Franklin. Got to say, y'all know how to celebrate a win. Better than some other small towns. Just saying. It's fun. We also want to, again, seriously thank Walter Commander for wanting this to be a show and understanding how hard it's been to try to find a sponsor. So he is pitching in to help get this started. We still need a couple sponsors, please. Email me, terry@s2ssport.com, or you can text me 469-605-3658. I just want to amplify what Franklin is doing. I think it's special, and I think Coach Mark Fannin's a special guy, and I think he's a great listen to too. He doesn't give a lot of coach. Okay, all coaches give coach speak, but he at least will tell the truth, and he won't try to hide things and try to either be completely like Lou Holtz where everything's always terrible, or as one of my old coaches used to say, pump sunshine up your skirt. He's just going to tell it like he sees it and tell it like it calls it. And I appreciate that as somebody who deals with coaches every day. So you'll be able to hear it each and every week right here on s2ssport.com on all podcast platforms. If you forget the website, remember Facebook, Sideline to Sideline. I post the shows there every week. Also on our Twitter at Grant and Terry. Week 1 in the books. Week 2, we'll talk about it next week right here on the Franklin Lion Football Show on S2S Sports, part of L4 Media.